Hello and welcome to Drive-In Double Feature Podcast. I'm Nathan.
I'm Ryan.
And this is the podcast where we talk about 2 movies a week every Tuesday and Thursday. But before we get into this week's movie, I just want to say we have a Patreon full of bonus episodes. And if you do not subscribe to that, it's fine. But let me just say, you won't be protected from any hazards that might happen to you. Okay?
Oh my God.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying that $5 a month helps save you. I don't know. I don't want to make. Of course, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. That was a joke. No, it's completely optional. We have a lot of fun over there. I'm just saying that because this week we are having a big week, and we're starting off with the Big Racket. I was making a racket joke, Ryan. Come on. You think I do that to these people?
The Big Racket is what I said to my neighbors on Saturday when their party was too loud.
yeah, I was there. I was at the party. We were trying to annoy you. It was a lot of fun. You're pounding on the window.
No, that was a big racket.
That was a big racket. Definitely wasn't Big Easy.
Well, that's what I said.
We don't have to get into that.
Right. Well, it would have been Big Easy if I had a big racket when I played tennis.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, that's what I wish this was. I thought I picked a tennis movie. Instead, I got a police movie. I got an Italian movie from 1976 directed by Enzo Castellari. It is part of a genre movie we haven't covered here. I think you pronounce it policio. I think it has a longer word in Italian, but it just means a crime movie. Just think of the giallo equivalent of like a crime cop movie, which is funny because we both picked movies with cops and we both picked cop movies.
They both had big in the title.
Yeah, so it's kind of just a nice coincidence. We did not plan this, by the way. It stars Fabio. Go ahead, Fabio.
And they both have funny accents.
You're right. Everybody. Yes. Except this one's all dubbed. The Tubi version of this, which I'm guessing you watched on Tubi as well. It is a dub. It is Italian, so I guess no matter what you're gonna get a dub of some sort. But of course, it's not a great dub. It's not a really good dub.
I didn't hate it overall.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not overly. There's some where it's like they didn't even try. Like, there's one cop that looks, he's got like the big stereotypical like Italian mustache with like black curly hair, and he's like, "Yes, you will be taken down to the police station." And then it's just like these super white bread acts like voices, like they get these people.
Yeah, exactly. But this movie starts out with a riot, like right off the bat. Like, you know what you're going to get into. Windows are getting blown out. Things are getting smashed. And we get like 20 minutes of setup for this mafia. They go from store to store, just harassing people. Pretty much just being like, hey, you give us protection money or we destroy your store and we kill you. Like they're awful people. There's even like one shop, I think it's like a bar or a restaurant, and there's a little girl, and it's like the dude's daughter, and like, something might happen to her if you don't save us or if you don't help us out here. And the acting is so wild.
Who knew that was going to be foreshadowing?
I know, right? Oh my God. I mean, I knew it from reading the description of this movie. I was just sitting on the couch this morning because I usually watch my movies in the morning, and I had my fiance with me, and I read the plot description. It's like, oh, it's a mafia that's trying to break into the drug rape and murder racket. And I was like, rape racket? Are you serious? I don't think that exists. I mean, I don't know. It's just like a really weird way to put it. But
yeah.
but they are just bad people. They will do anything to make sure that they get this protection money.
Yeah. I mean, I was actually kind of liking the first half of this movie. I thought it was like a pretty good setup for what was to come and everything. I thought the action was pretty good
I agree.
in the first half. And you actually get to see there is a well-known face. There's Vincent Gardenia is also in this movie.
He is. I don't know who. Vincent Gardenia. You
You
have to
know,
remind me.
he was Cher's dad in Moonstruck.
Oh my God. Oh wow. Yeah, I know who that is. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah, he was Pepe.
Yeah, he was nominated in Moonstruck, right? For new Moonstruck.
Yeah, he was nominated for Moonstruck, and he was nominated like 3 years before this movie for Bang the Drum Slowly.
Wow, they got an Oscar nominated actor like after he was nominated. That's kind of wild, actually.
Yeah, and they also said well, he does speak like full blown Italian, but they still dubbed him over with an Italian actor.
Yeah, that's what's wild about these movies. Um, but yeah, during this whole thing at the beginning, and I agree, the setup is cool. The cop is in the background. Fabio Testi is watching them, and I actually one of the coolest shots in this movie is whenever he the mob boss sees that he's being tailed by Fabio, and they shake his car. And like the whole group of them, there's so many people. It didn't look like there was that many people in the scene, but they push his car over the hill, cameras in the car, and I don't know how they did this shot, but in the car is flipping down the hill. Fabio is in the car and glass is flying everywhere. It's actually really a cool stunt, however they did it.
Maybe they like put the camera and like a dryer, spun it around,
Uh-huh.
and then just threw glass at him.
Hey, who knows? I mean, I think that'd be pretty cool. What if they actually just not like just put him in a car and rolled it down a hill?
That's knowing how they probably made movies back in the day, it wouldn't surprise me. It's like, yeah, we're just gonna roll you down the hill in a car.
Yeah, probably, and be like, okay, that's fine. Uh, I got a little thrown off. I have the Wikipedia article up right now, and it says it made $1.4 billion on here.
Well, I don't
But
think it's
that's an Italian.
dollars.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
For a second, I was like, "What? This is who messed with?" No, it's Italian money, lira. Um, but yeah, I agree. I think this first half setup is good. I think it's one of those movies that, as it goes on, at least for me, I just got a little tired of it. It was just really stretched out.
yeah. I mean, they. What I like is, it does kind of show like them committing these heinous crimes in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning, and the cop in this movie, he's really determined to take him down. And like you said, they do everything to try to intimidate him and
Mm-hmm.
everything. And he's just trying, and then like he goes to all these businesses that were hit up for these protection money and basically just like tricking them into like, hey, one of you guys have got to talk,
Mm-hmm.
and if you don't, because if you don't talk, then we can't do anything about this situation. And some of them like, I don't want any trouble or whatever. And then he does like kind of like the bits like he intentionally bumps into the guys like, oh, you assaulted an officer, like we gotta head down, I gotta take you to the station type of thing. And
Yeah, yeah,
uh
exactly. He's
and
willing to push the limits of the law to make sure that these people get put in jail.
yeah, and he, like I said, he's just wanting one of them to like just stick up for themselves and just to help him take down this mob.
Yeah.
And
Unfortunately, though, when he does do that for them, for one guy does stick up and say something.
Luigi,
Yeah, Luigi, they kidnap his daughter and they rape her, and it's one of the most it reminded me a lot of Death Wish. Of it was actually really graphic because it is a kid, but it does have a really great transition of her, like the guy looking down on her. He goes out of view, and then her dad shows up in the next transition, like shows that time came up. It's a horrible scene, but like I thought it was a really interesting way to like transition it.
yeah, I think that's kind of when I started to turn on the movie a little
Mm-hmm.
bit, because I'm like, I know they're trying to be horrific, like, oh, this is so awful that this happened to this little girl, but I'm like, again, we've said it before. It's like I could have just pieced together how horrible it was without you actually showing this
Yeah,
little girl get assaulted like this. It's just
exactly.
it was not needed, and
No,
that's when I was starting to be like, I don't
no.
know.
Yeah, and I think there's an even worse one later in the movie. Well,
Yeah.
that one's bad. They're both really bad because they do it again later. I mean, this is way later in the movie, but they assault this woman in front of like her husband, and then they piss on her. And I was like that dude standing over her peeing on her, and I was like, I what? This is like way too harsh. I don't need to
Yeah,
see this.
and then they light her on fire. So
Yeah, yeah, and I get it. It's supposed to show that they have no boundaries. They will do anything. But by that point in the movie, even with the little girl scene, which happens much earlier, I already knew they were really awful. You don't have to sell it anymore. Like you could have just shown
well,
her dead body, and I would have been like,
right.
yeah, they're bad.
It's like, okay, you showed me one rape scene. It's like, I get it. They're terrible people. It's like we got to show them raping again just to show you how really bad they are. I'm like, I got it. All right, I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
And
isn't it? This movie's really weird though because I didn't realize until way late in the movie that it was going to be like a ragtag team up movie of like all these people who've been wronged getting together to fight off the bad guys.
yeah, I mean, it's almost like there's some kind of, they've all been wronged in some way. So it's like they're kind of like, I don't know, like the Avengers. That's what I would probably call them.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Yeah. That's really smart. We should maybe we an Avengers movie.
Oh
Um,
no, we can't. We can't. I mean, it was named after the really popular English TV series, The Avengers.
oh,
Oh, darn.
darn. I love yeah.
With John Steed, of course.
Yeah, or the movie with Ray Fiennes and Sean Connery, Uma Thurman.
Yeah,
That's probably the best Avengers movie. It was better than this Avenger movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I didn't realize that either. That it was just he was going to take all these people that were wronged by this mob, and it's just like, all right, I guess we're just going to take the matter to our own hands type of thing.
Yeah.
Because after the rape scene, the first one, unfortunately, I have to specify that.
Yeah.
Um, After the first one, that's when I kind of started to lose its steam for me because it's
Mhm.
like there's not a whole lot that happened. They kind of plan this counterattack, and some guy kind of steps in as like a hero to kind of jump in, and he's like a sharpshooter type of character, which is the guy whose wife gets raped and killed. So it's like, hey,
Mhm.
you interfere in our business, we're going to take care of you, type of thing. Um, and then it showed like uh, him teaming up with Pepe, Vincent Gardenians, like, and
Mhm.
his nephew, I believe, and
Yes. Yeah.
which I still wasn't like completely sure what was going on with that, and
Yeah, I mean, all I got out of it is like that Pepe had some ties to the police, but was also like a mastermind criminal. So like it was like, oh, you can get in there, but there was like no transition there, right? It's like, oh, can you get in with them? And then Pepe was like, yeah, I'll try. And then next thing you
yeah,
know, he's a member.
well, yeah, because they were trying to get him like, yeah, okay, they were trying to get him on the inside because he told them like, hey, do whatever you got to do, but as soon as you pull out a gun and shoot somebody, you're in big trouble, type of thing. Basically saying like, do whatever crimes you got to commit, just don't kill anybody.
Mhm.
Like that's what the cops said to him. And anyway, through these actions, they kind of find out he was working with the police, and they murder his nephew. And
Mhm.
um, he gets together this group, and he ends up getting suspended from the police force.
Yeah, because
Um,
they find out how he's bending the rules the whole time. He's not a good cop by any means. He just wants justice, you know. Yeah, I'll do anything for justice.
and another bit of foreshadowing is like, it does show like the mob has this like really like this defense, this attorney or whatever that's
Mhm.
like, it's like, what are you doing to my clients? This is obviously police brutality type, like that type of
Yeah.
character. And
Well,
like,
for one thing though, he is beating the crap out of these mob members in police custody. Like they're on the ground getting hit. I think
yeah,
it makes sense.
right. And that's you kind of. But anyway, that's when it was all kind of running together, and I was just kind of losing interest a little
I
bit in the movie.
that's what I was gonna say earlier, was that it is like a ragtag group movie, right? But it takes way too long to get there. The process to get there is just extremely long and just kind of repeats itself. Like Pepe has multiple scenes where he's like stealing and giving information, and
Yeah.
I don't think the pacing is strong, because there's some really cool moments. Like there's the shootout in the train, the rail yard. That scene's really cool, where everybody's shooting each other, and like there's like a dude standing between trains, like shooting dudes. A car explodes. There's like cool moments. I think there is something good here, but just kind of poor choices muddled it a little bit.
Yeah, and there were some moments that I liked too. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there was the part where Luigi, because apparently, I guess I don't remember the scene happening. Maybe but they're like, oh, like your daughter was raped and then she killed herself, and I'm like, what was that? Did they show her killing herself? I don't
No,
remember, but
no, I
then
only I not at all.
but anyway, he's so like distraught with like what's happened to him and his family, is that like when the mobsters come back looking for their money, he just kind of like just blows them both away. And
Mm-hmm.
so like I remember that scene. But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, to get to like and there's also like another rival mob boss that was going to team up with them, but they kind of turn on him too, and they end up injuring him so bad that he has to wear a back brace for the rest of his life.
yeah, and he ends up being a part of the group wearing a back brace. But yeah, what happens is like he takes a trip to prison after he gets fired, and he's like, "Hey, you want to join my group? I can get you out of here." So he does. It's like a prison break. Gets these people, and the guy whose daughter is dead. He's like gone absolutely insane, and this actor is acting his heart out. He's like sweaty, red-eyed the whole time. He's like, I want to kill him. I've killed every rapist in here. And he's like, I kill him with this. And he brings out like a shiv, which he carries with him later into the movie too. Like that's like his his main weapon of choice.
Yeah, but I mean, when they start actually forming this group together, there's only like 20 minutes left at the movie at this point.
Exactly. And this feels like the point. This is the director of Inglorious Bastards, which is which, Christoph Waltz,
Yeah,
yeah, no,
Quentin Tarantino directed this movie.
no, the original Inglorious Bastards, which from what I know is kind of a group movie. So like I would assume there'd be a little more into that. I'd play into it. I think that's kind of a fun idea. All these people who have been wronged by the mafia getting together. But it just all it boils down to is they plan it out, and then they go to a warehouse to stage a shootout. And there's not really much more to all of this.
No, I mean, and they do. There are some bits in there that I like.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the rival mob boss. He shows up, and this girl that's part of the mafia, like she sneaks up on him and she shoots him like
Mm-hmm.
multiple times, and it hits him in the chest, but it bounces off him because
He's got the brace.
he's got she shoots the brace, and he's like, ha, didn't I tell you bullets don't affect Maserati or whatever.
Mozzarella.
Mozzarella, yeah.
Yeah, I love that bit.
And
No,
then he gets shot in the crotch.
yeah, yeah, but you can shoot a mozzarella in the crotch. But no, that whole scene is good. I think action's done well in this movie, because the shootout is really cool. It's really long, really blown out, and it's an Italian movie of the era, so the music is just insane. Like it's very synthy, very kind of heavy. I love that a car gets blown up with one bullet in this movie.
Yeah.
That's great. The car's driving away, and the cop shoots the gas tank, I guess, and blows it up in one hit. Pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
And it ends just like all the other 70s movies where it's like credits, they're all dead.
Yeah,
And
we did it. The thing happened. There's no wrap up here.
yeah. Well, I mean, the other angle to this movie, so they're looking for like the mob boss, and they're like, oh, it's this Englishman or whatever, and they only
Yeah.
have to go off of this sketch where he's got long dark hair and a mustache.
Mm-hmm.
And they do eventually find him, but twist, he wasn't the real mob boss. It was the defense attorney the whole time. And I'm like,
Yeah.
when they did that, I'm like, oh, okay, like,
Same
am I
here. I
like,
I was not like amazed. Like I saw his face, I was like, okay, I guess he's the bad guy.
well, I'm like, why? I'm like, we only seen one scene. It's not like it would have made a difference who the mob boss was. It wasn't like this, oh my God, it was really him the whole time. Or if it was like a good guy, like that became like a bad guy or whatever. It wasn't like that even. And so it's like, because remember, he even dies like in an unceremonious way. He's like, don't shoot, please don't shoot. And like, he's in the bathroom.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And he gets like, I mean, for me, like I did like the action sequence in the warehouse.
Oh yeah, it
For
was really well done.
But in terms of like satisfaction, it's like these guys have done like all these horrible things for like throughout this whole movie, and I was really wanting, because when you see stuff like that, I'm like, just they get like shot or whatever and then just fall over like in a
Yeah.
completely unceremonious way. Like I was like, I wanted them to like
Yeah.
really, I wanted it to be like a real big spectacle. They die.
Yeah, because there's like a woman that's a part of the group who kind of eggs everybody on. And like I remember there's the scene with the guy watching his wife get assaulted, and she's like, oh, they're doing great. She's gonna have such a good time. She'll never want you again. Just like just get shot, right? She's just
Yeah.
shot to
Well,
death.
that's when Mazzarelli shoots her.
Yeah, that's
So
Mazzarelli. What a great name.
yeah, yeah. I like mozzarella sticks, but
That's what I say when I go to Applebee's. So I say it in the real Italian way.
and they go, "Oh, you're a big Racket fan, by the way."
Yeah. Oh, you like the Big Racket too? Oh my God, classic cinema. We got a picture of it on the wall right here.
It probably wouldn't surprise me if Applebee's had a picture of that, like when they had like all that like crazy decor on the wall.
Yeah, all like the memorabilia from like everywhere.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore. But
No, I haven't been to an
uh
Applebee's in years.
no. Well, anyway, but yeah, I wanted a little more of a satisfying ending,
mm,
or like watching them like, oh, like really, or like showing them finally getting revenge on these people that have done all these terrible things to them or something. But it's kind of like the deal. It's like they shoot them, all the bad guys get shot, all the good guys get shot except for the main hero and the main bad guy,
mm.
and then he shoots the car, it explodes, and it's just like, all right, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. That's how the movie is. And that's the thing, like it's so much build up. It's almost an hour 50 minutes, I think. And like it's so much build up to these final moments, and you're right, there's like no catharsis. It's like we're done here. There's not like, does he become a cop again or anything? No. And does he go to prison? I, probably. That's the only thing I
Probably.
could assume. But yeah, no, I think, and I was really surprised on this one because I actually wanted to pick this genre movie for a long time. It had been on my like to-do list for a bit. I just didn't know which movie. I tried looking into like what was like the best of the genre. And this one holds a 3.7 average on Letterboxd, which is pretty high for the website. And a lot of my people I follow liked it. I just don't know if I'm as in on it. Like I get why, but I don't think I totally love it. I like
It's like
fine.
swaying your whole opinion of the genre.
I know, right? It's like, man, this genre sucks now.
It's like, man, I don't know if I'm going to pick any of these movies.
Well, we'll see. Maybe
I
one will get picked later. The one with the Leonardo DiCaprio actor uh, from the fake
don't,
movie.
I don't know what you're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
but uh, no, for me, it's not an awful movie.
No,
I wouldn't. I'm kind of like in the middle with it, so I would probably give it. I would say there's more good than bad, so I would probably give it a very, very light recommend if it were me.
yeah,
So
I think I'm tipped a little bit in the other direction. I agree though, it's not a bad movie, and I think there's good here, but I don't think there's enough to really say I'd recommend checking it out. So
yeah,
sitting there in the middle.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe we'll do another one. I don't know. I'm a little concerned for Nathan. He seems like he's not real big on these Italian cop movies.
Yeah, after one of them, I don't like them. I can tell you that. Yeah, it's like if you went and saw a comedy, Jack and Jill's the first comedy you ever saw you hate. It's like, I'm not into that comedy thing. I just hate
Oh, yeah.
comedy. I don't like humor.
Laughing. What's that for? I don't need that.
Garbage. But no, I do think that wraps it up for the Big Racket. So Ryan, remind us, what are we going to be talking about on Thursday?
Well, Nathan, this movie was a little hard to talk about. So now we're going to talk about The Big Easy.
Oh, so it's going to be easy to talk about, right?
Oh, yeah, very easy.
Okay, good, good, good. Well, I'm excited to watch that. Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is for free on Tubi right now.
Yes, and make sure to watch it on the largest screen possible because it is the tiniest video possible.
Is it?
Right? The aspect ratio is super tiny on mine. Was it just me?
It looked fine to me.
That's so funny. But I'm excited to watch that. Go ahead and send us an email, driveanddoublepodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Recommend us anything. You can X at us at DIDF pod. But until next time.
Until next time.